Good evening, good afternoon, good night, whatever time of day it is. I want to say what's up. And Damian Sheridan and I have a lot to jump into today. And so, if you know who Damian Sheridan is, which you should because the guy's awesome, we are doing the Book Direct Show and Destinationaire Awards in Miami this coming October. So, before we get bombarded with a lot of questions, which I know there's a ton out there, we wanted to clarify some important information, some important details that are must need to know for the show and the conference. So I'm going to let Damien jump right in and kind of give us a quick overview of what to expect here in the next month or two as we're getting closer and closer to the Book Direct Show in Miami, baby. I love it. Damien, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Well, thank you. Yes, we are. We're getting closer. We are less than, we're about 6.5 weeks away, which is exciting, terrifying, nerve wracking, all at the same time. But we've got an amazing cast of speakers lined up. We've got 2 days of fun, of networking, of education. I think most importantly, community, people getting together, speaking to each other, learning from each other, as well as, top cast of speakers. So, yeah, where do we start? We've got, we're kicking off on the 18th of October, two
Yep.
days. We are in Miami, the Ironside, which is like a eco community. So we're going very different for this particular event. Will and I were there in January. Was the one that stood out. It's going to be unique. It's not going to be like any other event you go to. We've got an amazing space, which we are decking off. We've got a big AV team behind us, so we're pretty excited about that. So
Yeah,
before we kind of go on to Will's event, so the Book Direct Show has been going a couple of years now, predominantly in Europe. So this is our first move to the US. Very excited. And yeah, we've got 2 days of talks, presentations, panels, and more in-depth workshops on day two. We've got lots of food. We've got lots of quite a little bit of alcohol in there, and we've got an award ceremony. And a lot of people have been asking me about the Destinationaire Award. So we thought it would be a good idea to do kind of a little announcement, a little chat between us about the Destinationaire Awards, where it came from, the idea, what's going on, and the format, the structure, what's going to happen at the show. So I'm going to let Will take it from here.
for sure. But before we get into the Destination Airward side, I do want to say the venue is pretty awesome. If you like the outdoors and you like to be in the sunshine, you like greenery, I think this is going to be a really good spot because it is very different. And I don't know about you, Damien, but I just keep thinking back on all of the different places that we checked out. Literally, the 2 days of touring that we were on, and this one was special. It was very, it just felt right. I think for the setting and the environment that we wanted to create for this conference. So I'm really excited about it. It's a good location. Plus, it's Miami, so a lot of our good friends that we get to meet up with for our happy hours and all the networking stuff that we did while we were there. Um, it just was such a good fit, and I couldn't be more excited for Miami in general. But to answer your question, if we not flashback, if we rewind to early 2020, you would probably remember. I think you and I were talking about this because when I had the idea and the concept for the Destination Air Awards, you were like, "We're all in. We want to support you." Giving away virtual tickets to the Book Direct show. It was crazy times. 2020, no one was traveling. We're all behind our laptops in our living rooms, in our kitchens, in our bedrooms, wherever it may be, and we were working. And then vacation rentals and short-term rentals started picking up again. Drive to destination travel. And there was no international travel, but people were still staying at short-term rentals. This was great news. There means there's operators that were still running their businesses as if nothing had ever changed outside of wearing some masks, gloves, extra sanitary stuff, and social distancing. So the cool thing is a lot of those people never get spotlighted in the news. And so when I was in my hotel room and talking to Damien and David Jacoby and a bunch of other providers in the space, let's just say that, I wanted to come up with a concept that recognizes those who just put their head down, they weren't seeking attention, and they were still running their business with a high level of guest experience and expectations as if nothing ever happened. So, um, through a conversation, I used to work for a hotel out in the Oregon coast, and the owner was a good friend and mentor of mine shortly after I started working there. And we were talking about what we do, hospitality in general. And he goes, "Well, you and I are people that are wired to create remarkable experiences that are anticipated and shared." And that sentence has stuck with like it stuck with me so much I've almost gotten it tattooed on my back, I swear to God. Um, but the fact of like I think that sentence alone can be broken down to so many things. And so when coming up with the terminology or the word for that sentence was really rough because like I was like, okay, we're wired to create remarkable experiences, anticipated, shared, all the other stuff. I couldn't really put a word to it. I didn't know what to. I couldn't say we're a hospitality expert or a professional. Like that just doesn't describe that. And so going through other words and just kind of thinking of stuff, Destinationaire came up. So think of millionaire, billionaire, but just add the word destination. And we are destinationaires in the sense of like we create remarkable experiences that are anticipated and shared through our properties, through our communities, through building direct brand loyalty, through all sorts of other things that we can do when it comes to more than just a head in a bed. And so that award spun up, and I know I've explained a lot of the backstory, but basically, when we announced it on the podcast through social media and through all of our partners, which we had like 20 partners sign up to just promote it and nominate a lot of their best customers or clients for this award, we actually had over 70 nominations worldwide, South Africa, all over Europe, all over America, you name it. Um, it was awesome, and it was really overwhelming in a good way because a lot of people said they never knew how to describe what they do until they heard the terminology and the word. So again, this award is to recognize those who have excellent standards and, you know, it showcases through their brand, through their reviews, through their team culture, not just how many properties they have and, you know, how much revenue they drive. I think we wanted to avoid that as much as possible. Um, so yeah, that's the destination air concept in a nutshell. And I don't know if you want me to dive into the format for the awards, but um, again, going to be very different. We're not going to do your typical award ceremony. So yeah, that's kind of
So
where we're at.
Well, as I have mentioned already, we've got a 2-day book direct show. On our first day, our shows, our talks will finish at about 4:30 or so. We're going to have a few drinks afterwards, and we're going to let people, if they want to stay on site, great. Or we're going to let them give them time to go back to the hotels, freshen up, get all glitzy, and come back out for the big awards. So we are looking to start at about 7:30ish or so, back on that first evening for a night of fun. And I will go back to you, well, and let us know what's going to happen.
Yeah. So what to expect when you come to the book direct show the first night? We are going to dress up a little bit. I think as short-term rental operators, we're used to just showing up in our t-shirt and jeans, and that's good. Um, but I want us to all get together, enjoy the community behind the scenes. Let's get fancy. Let's enjoy the company, and of course, have one or two many drinks at the same time. But this award is really to recognize those that really just stand out. So again, you can nominate yourself, you can nominate your peers, your coworkers, anyone in the industry that you really feel like meets the standard. And in a couple days' time, we will have a list of what this kind of qualification looks like. But for the awards itself, when we get there, we're going to open up with just an opening welcome and cheers to everyone in the industry. And then after that, we have no categories. So this is different. We're not going to categorize a destination air by property number, by destination, whether it's mountain or beach, none of that. We want to see it through and through. We don't care, again, if you are 1,000 properties or if you're one property. This is to recognize excellent service and excellent culture with a high standard of focusing on community with your guests, with your team, with your actual neighbors and local community. Like I think that's really important for us. Um, so 7 awards, no categories, very simple, straight to the point. Is all gonna be nominated, and guess what? There's no panel of judges that are going to be going off of their best friends or the people like they like the most. We're gonna be very unbiased, and we're gonna go specifically off of the nomination. So if you're thinking about nominating yourself, nominating a friend, just know the more details, I wouldn't say fluff, but the more you put into the nomination, the better. Because we're not gonna do it off of, well, I know this person and they're always setting the standard. They're great. Yeah, there might be a couple of those because they are a good example to look at, but I need it to make sure that everyone knows this is not gonna be some popularity contest. This is really going after those who are doing great work. So you're gonna probably see a couple names that you've never seen before, and that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that we have new and emerging leaders in this space come out from this award, and I think we will, based off of what I've seen and what I've heard. So I'm excited to meet everyone, to get to shake your hand and say good job for all the things that you do for the industry. So that's the concept. That's the format.
So, Will, as you know, myself and Deborah for the last few years, with the Book Direct Show, we've always tried to bring on speakers and get those involved who, yeah, may not necessarily be a name in the industry. And I think this is really important. And that's why I'm so thrilled you've said that. It's not going to be necessarily the big companies out there. It could be a one-man band. It could be small little companies anywhere, but they're just providing that great experience. So I love that. So what time are we looking at on that first evening? What are we? What should everyone expect?
Well, like you said, we're gonna get back around 7:30 ish from 8 o'clock. I don't want this to be a long, overdragged ceremony. Again, we're here to recognize our peers, take a couple of good pictures, and go have more fun out in the town. I think that's the important because after everything we've seen, you know this too, Damien. When you go to a conference, they are exhausting. There's a lot to go into it. There's a lot of early mornings, a lot of late nights, and a lot to learn in between. And so I think for my whole concept of the Destination Awards, it's again, we're not going to drag it out. So I think once we get through the 7 awards, we're going to then stay there for a few more drinks or a few more, another 30 to 45 minutes. And then after that, we have some amazing sponsored events that are going to partake off site. So that's going to be the fun part.
We have actually we've got plenty of fringe events being organized as we speak. We've got a bump trip the day before our show. We've got after the Destinationaire Awards, we've got our friends at Turnover B&B hosting some premium open bar nearby with drinks. So yes, anyone who's up for late nights, you're going to have fun. So I think all in all, it's going to be a fun evening experience. Will, I'm really excited about it. My one slight concern is people might be a little bit hungover the next morning, but yeah, well, we'll have to keep people on task.
I
With
say we could always bring a whole bucket handful of liquid IVs for everybody that needs the extra boost in the morning.
We'll have extra strong coffee the next day.
Amen.
Well, yeah, it's really exciting. We are going to push this over the next couple of weeks. When should we expect an official announcement with forms, etc., for the Destinationaire Awards? When can people start applying, roughly?
Yeah, first week of September. So anytime after I think September 7th is what I had on my calendar is when everything will be live. My team and I are working on just making sure it's super easy for everyone to find, super easy for everyone to fill out. Again, I don't want this to be a complicated process for anyone for nominations, for the award, for the ceremony itself. We want this easy. So we're already putting everything together. The form is going to be pretty simple, but like I said, the more details you give about your nomination, the better, because again, it's recognizing the things that go above and beyond. How do they meet the standards of community, from local to guest to culture and their teams, to building brand, to actually building something that isn't just heads and beds operations, right? This is what we want to set as a standard. And again, Book Direct is also a very big part of that. When we first started this award in 2020, that was actually a massive requirement. You had to prove that you had a Book Direct option instead of just relying on the OTAs. So as long as that is there and there's at least a good direction and sense that this is a active company inside all shapes and sizes, then that's all that we need. So it'll be really easy, but just make sure you give as much detail as possible.
Cool. Great. Can't wait. I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Well,
Yes. See you soon, and let's get ready to have some fun in the sun in Miami.
there's going to be a lot of fun. We can guarantee that. Thanks.